Here is a Siege game from fairly recent that I played that I think is a great example of what to do and what not to do while playing Pulse.
Eye on me.
So seeing him break this, I'm gonna back up, try and not let him know I'm here and just play patiently. And keep in mind doing something like this is high risk, high reward. Pulse is a high risk, high reward operator. Like for example, if I'm taking out the Pulse scanner there in that corner, he can hear that if he has the volume up loud enough. Also him droning there, I'm just relying on him not seeing me with the drone, and thankfully he didn't, and he just walks in, and I get the pick without him noticing I'm here.
Heartbeat sensor deployed.
There we go. Where's that coming from?
Deploying heartbeat sensor.
Also keep in mind too, where I'm sitting is a really aggressive place to sit. It's honestly not that smart of a place to be as Pulse with my scanner out. I'm pretty open to them coming up main stairs at Shark, which is the call out for the top of the stairs. But I'm only doing this because I'm very confident that none of them are over there. And here I go to crouch and take out my Pulse scanner to see if anybody's through in sight, but I accidentally stay standing and almost get myself killed.
I should've just held that instead of taking my scanner out.
And now that we have a 2v2 and we're playing defense, I'm gonna anchor a little bit heavier and try and just stay on site. Another thing to note, like laying in front of a window like this, that's a terrible thing to do, and I should have gotten killed for doing that, honestly. Again, that was just me being overly confident that there wasn't going to be anybody on the roof holding those angles, which I shouldn't have been confident about.
1 op 4 remaining.
And then here's an example of my confidence in someone's location getting me killed, to where I think that guy's sitting on site trying to get a bomb plant, but he's actually swinging me. The best advice I can give for playing Pulse is just being mindful of when and when you aren't using your Pulse scanner, because it renders you completely defenseless, so you really want to be conscious of things like positioning, enemy positioning, and everything to kind of give you that intel aspect that you need to gather more intel. You could even see a few times in the video I used me taking out my Pulse scanner and almost dying multiple times, and that's why I used the clip, just to kind of prove this point of I could have swung that guy and just killed him. He had like 3-second reaction time. I had all the time in the world, but for some reason I wanted to lay down and use my Pulse, which wouldn't even have reached him. And just to talk a little bit about his loadout, he does have the UMP, which is what I use mainly. It comes with a 1.5, which is extremely important, in my opinion, if you're playing on defense. And then he has the M1014 shotgun, which is one of the better shotguns, but I personally would recommend the UMP. Now for secondaries, he has the M45 and the 5.7. I really don't have a recommendation for that, but more importantly for gadgets, he has a deployable shield, he has a nitro cell, and he has a vision blocker. If you don't know what the vision blocker is, it's basically a little barrier that you can set up that drones or cameras can't see past. But specifically I want to talk about the nitro cell because it is one of the best features of Pulse, and that's why it's such a high pick rate. Being able to play under sight and use your Pulse scanner above to find out when someone's planning and getting that pick with a nitro cell, or having another teammate throw the nitro cell so you don't have to even wait for a plant, you can just do it while they're moving. It's extremely good, and it's the reason I've seen countless games won or lost on maps like Coastline, maps like Border, any map where you have a site that's set up on top of destructible floor. And here's a little clip of the spray patterns for the UMP. I'm only going to talk about the UMP here just because that's what I really recommend to use, and this is meant to be like a brief video. Here's me trying to control the recoil just to show that the gun does have a pretty tight spray. One of the final piece of advice I have is just to play around with the operator a little bit, play around with it, and like what I'm doing right now, just one tap around, get used to the gun, get used to the way the operator moves, its speed, all that. Because if you go into a ranked game and you're not really warmed up, you don't really know the mechanics like that, some freak who's been playing the game for 16 hours is just gonna decimate you and it's not fun, and you're going to be discouraged. So just play around in standard, in unranked, in casual, in shooting range, whatever you like the most. And make sure you are communicating. If you're playing Pulse, I heavily recommend that you have a headset or you're playing with a group of people. It's really difficult to use ping strictly to try and emphasize where people are playing Pulse. It's really a waste to have that much intel just be put in one person without the ability to communicate it.